All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So practice just wrapped up for the New York Jets here in a really, really important week for training camp, not only just for the Jets, of course, but, for every team out there, because this is the first week of preseason. A lot of teams are having joint practices. I know the Giants are actually in the middle of joint practices right now with, I believe it's the Detroit Lions. But in any case, let's dive into this practice. Let's kind of also talk about the solid press conference, because there was a lot of stuff that happened today. First things first, no Hassan Reddick. At this point, no surprise here. There's just been no update. Number two, Xavier Gipson is back. That is huge. Now, if we take a quick look at the injuries, it was actually a pretty crazy day. So Ashton Davis left practice early due to a rib injury, according to Robert Saleh, who's, getting further evaluations on it. Joe Tippmann left practice and met with the trainer midway through. Michael Carter did not practice. Mike Williams, of course, did not practice. And Saleh did address the whole Mike Williams thing after in the presser, where he said, I think the question was asked, what's the timetable looking like? And Saleh essentially just said, we'll see. He has a couple of scheduled doctor visits coming up. So, it doesn't sound like he's going to be back tomorrow or the next day or probably the next day. So, it's... we're looking at a lot of missed days here for Mike Williams. I know the expectation was that he probably wasn't going to be ready for the start of training camp, but we're multiple weeks into this thing. And again, it doesn't really sound like like they have a set date that everybody's kind of prepping for. Okay, this is when Mike Williams should be back. It just kind of sounds like everybody's just taking it one day at a time. So we'll see what happens on that front. It is a positive sign, though, that Allen Lazard is continuing to have good days, which is, obviously that's great in the absence of Mike Williams. Who else? Tyron Smith didn't practice, and Connor Hughes put out a tweet basically just saying that it's troublesome. He hasn't worked in 3 days with the day off in between. Yesterday, Saleh said he's dealing with tightness, and an often injured player already missing that many days with a soft tissue injury is troublesome. Personally, I disagree. Saleh, did address that as well. The whole Tyron Smith situation in the presser, said it was a scheduled day off. And look, we all know what Tyron Smith can do once the regular season hits. He's a veteran. He can take care of his body. He knows what works best for him. If Tyron Smith wants 3 more practices off next week, I'm going to give him the three days off. I don't really see this as a situation where Tyron Smith is like hurt or, he's dealing with something to where he actually needs time off. I just don't envision a situation where Tyron Smith is like secretly dealing with an injury or is has something going on to where he can't practice, or if he does practice, he runs the risk of, getting this long-term situation. I think it's more so, hey, he's a little tight, we'll keep him out. And then on the flip side, Olu Fashanu gets extra reps with the ones, which is flat out awesome. If we didn't sign Tyron Smith, Olu Fashanu would be the team's starting left tackle. So, in this situation, right, where Tyron Smith is a part of the team and Olu doesn't have to start right out of the gate, it's, to me at least, it's a luxury that Olu has opportunities throughout training camp to roll with the ones, to start with the starting 5 and have opportunities to go head to head with Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald and Michael Clemens, guys that are good pass rushers, right? It just helps refine Olu's game. But as far as the practice goes, supposedly there were multiple fights. I think I counted 3 total fights reported today. Not, full on punches being thrown, but 3 skirmishes. And we're at the point in summer, point in training camp where, pads are on, there is contact, it is hot. You're creeping closer and closer to the start of the season. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 30 days before the first regular season game. So right around a month here. So things are going to get testy. We have the joint practice against Washington on Thursday. Tomorrow's practice, actually on Wednesday, ended up getting canceled due to a weather concern, and it's going to be made up on August 20th. So just wanted to quickly throw that in there. But yeah, multiple fights throughout the day. Supposedly the defense had the better day compared to the offense. not really too surprised. That kind of seems like it's been the theme of the training camp period so far for the Jets, although the offense has looked better in compared to recent years, recent memory, which is, obviously a positive. But a couple of the standout players, Isaiah Winstead, right, newcomer at the wide receiver position, bounced around in college a little bit, Toledo, East Carolina, was a part of the UFL. He caught a nice touchdown pass today, which is really cool to see. Defensively, Jamien Sherwood had another fantastic day. Now, Jamien Sherwood has had a great camp. He was great in the green and white scrimmage. He actually met with the media yesterday, and it was a pretty cool interview, right? At least to me, right? He talked about CJ Mosley, his mentorship, how CJ's just helped him grow as a player. And Saleh talked about Jamien Sherwood too, in regards to him coming in out of Auburn as a safety, converting him to a linebacker, making that transition. And now all of a sudden, Jamien Sherwood every single year finds himself growing and getting better at the position. So, and we actually talked about this in the last video. I asked the question, do you think Jamien Sherwood is the long-term replacement at middle linebacker once CJ Mosley ends up leaving the team? Or do the Jets view Jamien as that permanent outside, that weak side 4-3 linebacker? It'll be interesting to see how the Jets value him once Sherwood's contract comes up, which should be relatively soon here. But for the time being, Sherwood continues to impress, flat out sweet. And the last thing I want to leave off on, Joe Tippmann didn't have any bad snaps. Step in the right direction. I know we're talking about fundamentals here, snapping the football for somebody who's done it for a long time, going back to college and whatnot. But still, if this was an issue, can we stack days without this issue popping up? And today was a positive step, right? This is why training camp is here. So, what will happen with the free agent market? By the way, we saw Quandre Diggs sign a one-year, $3 million deal with the Tennessee Titans. I mean, talk about a freaking steal for Tennessee, who continues to sign these veterans. Tyler Boyd, already having DeAndre Hopkins on the roster. They signed Calvin Ridley. They signed Jamal Adams. Tennessee, I think, could be a sleeper team if the coaching staff has a set plan for these guys. Obviously it's going to be the first rodeo for a lot of these coaches, but really the regime as well, with Carthen coming in. But I think Tennessee could be a sleeper. I digress, though. The point is, free agents, bigger name free agents, are slowly but surely coming off the board. Will the Jets bring in Connor McGovern before the start of the regular season? Look, every day, every practice, guys run the risk of getting hurt. And if a team's starting center goes down, if a team's starting guard goes down, I could easily see Connor McGovern being within the top 3, candidates in a lot of teams' eyes. So I would assume if the Jets want to bring McGovern back, I think I would prefer to do that sooner rather than later, at least within the next 2 weeks. So that's just kind of my take on the situation. I would love to hear yours down below in the comments section, regarding the whole Tippmann McGovern debate, if we should bring Connor back. But anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.